What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Come talk some Sixers with us. Let's go.
Let's go. This ain't the fuck like this game, he stinks.
Oh shit!
It's cold.
Everybody, this is A2D Wednesday nights, only on A2D Radio. Every Wednesday, we are brought to you by Manscaped, and you can get 20% off and free shipping with the code A2D at manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped, from the weed whacker, the lawnmower, the ball deodorant, the 2-in-1 body wash, the freaking boxer briefs, the non-chafing boxer briefs. I haven't chafed in years now. All right, guys, unchafable. I am literally unchafable. You become unchafable. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code A2D at manscaped.com. No Ryan Brodo, technical difficulties, the same ones I was dealing with. No Greg Milwakovic, need a little shut-eye. But we got Nate Moss, Noah Eaton, Frank Vespi, Ralph Del Vecchio. I'm Tom Arnone. The family out there, welcome in. We'll talk Sixers and the Bradley Beal trade rumors now. All of a sudden, Bradley saying, oh, maybe I will move. Maybe I will take a shot somewhere else. All right. So, and we like to hear that, especially when you're coming up on the trade deadline next week. So, sort of good news if you're a Sixers fan. We'll dive into it. Is Tyrese Maxey untouchable? Will be a topic of conversation. We'll give you Sixers, Wizards, post game. Not the way you wanted this one to go, but I was just arguing in our A2D chat about it. That, I mean, this is one of the hottest teams since the All-Star break. And, you know, teams lose games in the NBA. This is not the National Football League. You know, you can't panic after one loss. Now, we'll talk about, is this team built to win it all right now? Listen, me and Ryan talked about that Monday, and I agreed that they are, because when you have one of the best players in the league, you always stand a chance. Now, I'm more 75-25 that they won't, but there's still that 25% chance when you have a player of his caliber that you can make a run. Now they need more, and we'll touch on what they need more of throughout the show. And our poll question, which is brought to you by FanUp, and FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NFL contests, and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Use promo code A2D and get 5,000 bonus points. That's a $50 value. You can find FanUp right in the Apple Store. Go download it. Not now. I mean, if you have YouTube Premium, you can go do it now. But if not, stay with us. Stay with us. Go download it after. FanUp, right? Not only NFL contests, now NBA contests, the Bachelor, Bachelorette contest. They got everything. You can challenge any one of us to have FanUp to any bet you want. And like I said all the time, 50-50 chance, I always hit accept. So come challenge me. Come challenge us. And let's talk about our poll question tonight, which is Tyrese Maxey should be untouchable in any Sixers Bradley Beal trade talks. So it really just means any trade talks for the most part, but Bradley Beal's been the name. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. That's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Like, subscribe, follow, join the conversation. We love to hear from you tonight. And like always, comment in. Let us know where you're tuning in from, and we'll get to your comments and read them off live on air. Now, again, this poll question is worded a little weird. So any Sixers, so it's just Sixers Bradley Beal trade talks, or trade talks in general? Like, what's the I need some clarification on our own poll here. Like, Tyrese Maxey should be untouchable in any Sixers / Bradley Beal trade talks. Does that just mean for Bradley Beal?
No. I think it's across the board.
I thought it was across the board the way I read it.
I'm thinking it's across the board.
Well, Ryan, I think you wrote the poll question. So is it across the board, or is it Bradley Beal before I get myself in trouble?
Well, I guess majority says that it's across the table. So we'll go with that.
Well, I thought that's what we talked about last night on the phone. That it was like, you know.
Yeah, and then the Bradley Beal stuff hit the news wire. So I'm like, I'll spin
Was
it
the
that
Bradley
way. But
Beal
if you,
stuff today?
Yeah,
I mean, I saw it, but is that today?
Yeah.
Kinda,
yeah, it was this afternoon.
today? But I mean, all he said he was just open to a trade talks, right? That's all.
The Sixers they put him. It depends on who you believe. He is a part of their small list as far as guys that they want before the deadline.
Okay.
Is Tyrese Maxey untouchable? I disagree. I don't know if the video is in the back end here of
Ralphie's got it.
The clip from
I'm pulled up.
The clip from draft night when we drafted Tyrese Maxey. So before I even get into this poll, Ralph, when you're ready, play the clip because I want the people to hear how excited I was on draft night that this kid fell to us. I need the people to hear this before everybody gets all upset and all emotional with Tom. And how could he not be untouchable, Tom? He's 21 years old. How? Hear draft night reactions, and then I'll circle back and tell you some names that he's not untouchable for if we have a feel for life. Ralphie, when you're ready.
Yeah, it's just going through ads. I can't play the ads because
Let's say anytime. Now. Anytime. Okay. When Tom starts talking, that's when you drop. You got to be ready. Let's go.
So Tyrese Maxey's untouchable. 86ers, Bradley Beal trade talks. Agree or disagree? I disagree. Now for Bradley Beal, I agree he's untouchable. Right? Like I'm not putting you in a Bradley Beal deal because that's what Ben Simmons is in the deal for. So it just depends on the type of player we are getting in return. Okay, are we getting, like if Kyrie Irving wasn't a weirdo and you told me that, okay, you had to put him in a deal there to get Kyrie, you're saying no? I would tell you to check your pulse, check your basketball knowledge because you need a star to team up with Joel Embiid and especially a guard. Now, Bradley Beal's not you're a point guard, he's a shooting guard, so it's a little bit different. I'm not putting him in a deal for that. He's got half a season left on his contract. So no, you don't hold those cards over my head. So it depends on the deal. Like when we talk about Damian Lillard pre-injury, he's not untouchable for Dame. Come on, guy. You know what I mean? Like there's certain players.
I'll drive him there.
He's not untouchable for. And there's other guys I don't put him in a deal for, like Bradley Beal. No, he does not need to be in that deal. So it's all the fit and who you're getting. Like if you're getting a top 10 player in the NBA, and it takes having to give up Tyrese, which none of us really want to do. I'm not an advocate for it. Not at all. I'm not looking for deals and saying, oh, you know what, put Tyrese in this. Like actually quite the opposite. I'm trying to move Ben Simmons and Ben Simmons alone. Ralph, are you ready?
I have the video for you. Yep.
All right, play the video.
All right, pick is in.
Is it too loud?
How excited are you guys right now? How excited?
Dude, I can't. Like if it's Maxey, Maxey or Terry, I'll probably get excited because I've seen them both play a lot. So like I like both of them to this team. And I really like Maxey a lot. I really do. He's a better player. He's the better long-term player because he's a puppy still. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ralphie, I can only be angry from here. From now until pick, I can only be angry. Okay, if that makes sense. My mood can't be raised, but it could definitely plummet.
Here we go.
You got it.
Tyrese Maxey's the pick. Let's go. That's a real good playmaker. Last year, what did this organization do? They said, you know what? We need wing defenders. They went out and got one in Matisse Thybulle, who we all really like a lot. What did they say this? Hey, we need shooters now. We need guys who can take people off the dribble. We need playmakers. Listen, Tyrese Maxey's that kid. You went and a young puppy too, which I'm a big fan of. Obviously works out with LeBron.
Yeah.
This guy went 6 at midnight. All right. I love it. Confident kid. I really like this pick, and I think he has higher upside than what's left in this draft right now. There's some things left in this draft. I think if you really boil it down, Tyrese Maxey probably has the most upside, playmaking ability wise. What's left on the big board right now? Absolutely. And listen, he'll palm me up too. Guy's not scared to play defense, and he's 6'3", not a real tiny guy either. And he can run off the ball. He can be on the ball. To me, he can do a lot of things, and I like it a lot. And we needed a shooting guard. You know what I mean? We needed a shooting guard that, and I think all our opinion, will probably have a better career than what Josh Richardson's had so far. Fair? Mm-hmm. And Josh Richardson, solid player through his career. I think Tyrese Maxey has that ability, but way more of a playmaker offensively. Defensively, I think he has that same ability to a point, right? But offensively, I think where the kicker is. I think his offensive skill set that limit's really high. I just do. I think that ceiling's really high on his skill set offensively. And
I completely agree.
So pretty simple, pretty simple. And I know later on in the same show I mentioned, like if he had a March Madness, he's probably going in the lottery. Not probably.
Yeah, I think it's in that clip. I don't because that clip, Ralphie, does that clip keep going?
Yeah. It keeps on going. You want me to bring it back up? I didn't know how long you want me to go for.
That's funny. We got a show to do, so you know, what I mean, it's enough. But you know, the facts are, you know, I think he goes higher. I think he's more of a lottery guy, and I think we stole him, which we did. So all that being said, I don't want to keep harshing and circling back to draft night here. But listen, he's a really good young player. He showed obviously a lot of things throughout last year and into this year. He continues to get better. But you know, if you're talking about a top 10 player in the NBA, and Tyrese Maxey is the reason I'm not pulling a trigger, I also think I'm doing a little bit of disservice to Joel Embiid in a way. That being said, I don't think you need to put him in a deal. So, you know, I almost think this poll is a little bit of a mute point in conversation because I don't think you have to. You really don't, because you're not shooting for those types of players. You're shooting for a Bradley Beal that's got a half a year left on his contract, right?
Yeah.
And then I don't know what else they're in the conversation for, like the Halliburton and Fox. Like, no, you don't have to put Tyrese Maxey in that deal, right? Any of the deals that we've talked about outside of Damian Lillard, right? Outside of Damian Lillard, you didn't need to put him in that deal, right? So, right, to the back, if we're just talking Bradley Beal, I agree he's completely untouchable. Knock it off. His name shouldn't even be brought up, right? I think Danny Green's in that same conversation for Bradley Beal, and the only guy I would say, you know what, he can go is Matisse, and I'm really don't even want to do that, not because I think Matisse's skill set is that high. It's just because I don't need to. I don't fucking need to. I'm going to give you picks and Ben Simmons, and you got a guy that's going to walk anyway. You have a guy on your basketball team that's walking regardless.
And I has already told you I'm 50-50 on signing here again.
Yeah.
That should tell you he's got a foot out the door already. He's
Absolutely.
already looking ahead. So
I disagree in terms of like the gigantic landscape of it, right? Like when you talk about guys, like, not saying I'm getting these guys, Kyrie, Donovan Mitchell, just throwing names out, right? Like elite level playmakers that aren't like 32, 33, right? I mean, you could probably give me a ton more too at the guard position that I'm not even mentioning, right? Because there's so many. There really is around the league. There's so many of those types of players. But, you know, you tell me like Ja Morant, not getting Ja Morant, but if I had to get it done by putting Maxey in, I got to do it, right? If I'm looking at, what was the one we talked about last night? The Shea, right? Shea Gilchrist-Alexander, right? If I got to, you're telling me, oh, I can only get it done with put Maxey in, and people at home are going to tell me no, I'm going to tell you again, you need to slow down. Because they're the same age, and sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get that type of player in. All that being said, I think Tyrese Maxey has the ability to be on the level of some of these guys we're naming in terms of great playmakers, guys who can score, guys who can facilitate. I think, you know, his quickness, his speed, his ability to get by guys, I think that's all got tremendous upside, right? That's why I'm not an advocate of trading him. I'll say that one last time. Not an advocate. But there's certain deals you would have to say yes to. Now, in terms of Bradley Beal, last time, absolutely not. Doesn't need to be in this deal. They can get this deal done with Ben Simmons and picks. And if somebody tells me they can't, I'm going to tell you you're a fucking liar, and you just don't understand it then. You don't understand. I'm giving you a guy with 4 years of control. I'm not giving you a guy with a half a year too. So
a guy that's already walking out the door on you.
Take it for what it is. So I disagree in the broad landscape when you put every player in the league in there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of Beal, I disagree. So I agree. So it just depends on how you you want to phrase that. Before you guys go, I just want to ask Jason, what do you mean you agree 1,000,000%? I got to ask you, like, what do you mean 1,000,000%? Like, so there's no player in the NBA at the point guard position. If you had to put Maxey in to get it done, you want it. Come on. I love the kid too. He did a video. He went back to draft night. It was Crown City for a guy that nobody ever saw playing the fucking NBA. So no, for Beal, no. Beal, you're an asshole if you put him in the deal. You're desperate. That's a desperate move. No, I'll just hold on to Ben then. You can just sit right where you're at, honey. No, that's my rant on it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Go ahead, Nate.
No, I'm just thinking out loud because Tommy, I'm listening and absorbing everything you're saying. I'm seeing the comments, and I'm just thinking, they're in win mode now, right? Because one, where we are in the Eastern Conference, and then what Embiid's doing this past year and what he did last year, he's at his peak. At least we think he's at his peak. He might have another level if he gets to the finals. He might have another gear he can kick in, just kind of like Shaq, right? Shaq would give you, almost 30 in 12 during the regular season, but once the playoffs and once you got to the end, Shaq could give you like 35 and 15, right? He had another gear, and I think Embiid has that other gear. But my thought or my question is to the group: do you think you win more games with Beal and Embiid or Max and Embiid? And I would have to think I would win more games with Beal and Embiid. Like if Beal is the thing that gets me over the hump, then bye Maxey. It was nice seeing you. I want to see you grow, but I also want to get to Broad Street. And if you have to be in a deal to get me at least to the dance, even though I don't know if with you now can get me to the dance, but I know for sure that Beal and Embiid will get me to the dance, then hey, sorry. It was nice knowing you, kid. You look good in the beginning, but give me the proven commodity for sure. So I disagree. I disagree, and I agree with Tommy all at the same time, which is weird to say. But I disagree. I disagree to the poll, but I disagree on both. Like, if it brings me Beal, and I feel as Maury and Doc, like this is going to get me over the hump. This is going to get me to the Eastern Conference Finals and give me a shot to get into the finals. I'm pulling the trigger, without a doubt. Without a doubt, I'm pulling. See, look, the way I'm talking right now, it just moved me up a notch. Like, you see that? I just moved up just like that.
Put up to the top.
Just like that. Just like that, I moved up.
Easy as that.
Easy as that. But yeah, no, I disagree. I disagree to the poll, man. I think they're in a good spot. I think they're deep. I think Tom, me and you talked about this maybe sometime. Like, who would win between this team and the 0-1 team? 7-game series.
I don't know.
Right, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, are they? But see, to me, they're almost they're somewhat of a carbon copy of that. But I mean, I guess you give the edge to Larry there in terms of coaching, if you want to look. But I think we're deeper than that team. Like, I really do. You know what I mean? But they had old reliable, right? They had old reliable on that team. Like, when Allen was having a bad day, he could find McKee for that good 16-footer. McKee was a killer from that mid-range, right? But I don't know if, we're seeing different players step up, but it's not anybody consistent, where Embiid gets double or triple team who can go get a bucket. I think we win in 7 games against that 0-1 team. I really do.
Probably. We probably have better overall roster than that team did. Jimmy with a super chat. He should be untouchable in any trade talks. Let me start this off by saying I love Joe, but his health is a concern. Tyrese could very well be our future, and maybe you're right, but I mean, you guys got to like stop. I think like this is where you guys get out of hand. Like, I'm going to continue to say you guys get out of hand. He's not untouchable. He's untouchable for shit deals, but he's not.
Yeah.
Come on, you tell me you get top fucking 10 player back, Chucks. I see you agreeing too. Like, if you get a top 10 player back, no.
Yeah.
You're all wrong.
I just think for this poll question, there isn't a wrong answer, right? In the sense of where you could say he's a great for, like you were saying, Tommy, the shit deals, right? There you go. See, you hurt yourself getting all ramped up. It's all right.
God,
But
Did you pull a hammy, Tommy?
No, it probably would have feel better if I did. Damn, I hit it right off the edge of the thing because I was pounding shit. I'm so mad about the untouchable. Like yes, for average guys or guys on like
for average guys, he's untouchable, right? Maybe for a Bradley Beal, you don't have to throw Maxey in, right? Maybe they're in love with Thybulle and you throw Thybulle in, right? So it's Ben Thybulle and some picks, and then you get the Bradley Beal back, right? But if like a Dame's walking up to your door or a Shea's walking up to your door or any other player that can get you over the hump, you're absolutely throwing Maxey in and you're calling it a day.
But Ralphie,
I just think there's no way. I don't think there's a wrong answer to this poll question.
Ralphie, why not put Maxey in that Beal deal? Because our 5 with Beal is amazing.
No, you don't. You still don't have a point guard. You still do not have a point guard.
Because of the fact,
No,
I
he's not.
think
He's not a point guard.
To be honest, I like the lineup if there was a fantasy world where you could keep Maxey in a Beal deal, then you run out Maxey, Beal, and Embiid, and you go for it, right?
The only thing I'll say to that, the only thing I'll say about the point guard spot is in today's NBA. I mean, if you have a 2 guard that can handle the basketball, you're just talking about bringing the ball up. Nobody's running Indiana offenses, Hoosiers basketball and Princeton offenses where we're working back doors and we're constant motion offenses where I need like that point guard to like get it rid. As soon as guys bring up the ball, what do teams get into? They all get into pick and rolls. It's like the whole NBA. I mean, I watch a lot of NBA. Every time a guy brings up the ball, no matter if he's a point guard or not, what do they get? And I'm not advocating trading Maxey. I'm just saying, like, if you had Beal and Seth, you're going to be okay back there. If you have guys who can just bring up the basketball, that's all that really is. And then everybody gets into the pick and roll game. So nobody's really running like that old school NBA offense with your traditional point guards, right? Like nobody does that anymore. Like maybe some shitbirds do out there, teams that can't play, but the majority of teams get right in the pick and roll, double pick and roll action, right? If you look around the league, right? You know what I mean? How many non-traditional point guards bring up the ball in games you guys watch? Like all around the league.
All the time.
Wait, Tommy and Hoosiers, what? They had to pass it 4 times before they were allowed to shoot, right?
Yeah, then
and for an example, go look at the Sacramento Kings trade that was proposed, right? They didn't even want Maxey. It was Ben Simmons and Harris for what was it? Halliburton, Barnes, and Buddy Hield and some picks. So in that deal,
I would do that deal right now.
But obviously, Daryl was probably be like, you know what? How about you throw De'Aaron in there? You know, just throw Fox in there. Throw Fox and we call it a day. You know?
No, Ralphie. What happened was they wanted Thybulle too, and Daryl didn't want to give up Thybulle. That was the problem. No, I'm not joking.
If you're in Daryl's spot, if you're in Daryl's seat, real quick for that trade, and they come back, say, okay, we'll do this trade, but we want Thybulle in there as well.
What's the exact trade?
The trade was Simmons, Harris for Halliburton, Barnes, and Buddy Hield, and I think it was a couple picks.
That's the worst deal of all time.
That was a proposed deal.
Worst deal of all time, and then you're wanting me to throw another player in, another young player. Yeah. I mean, you can back up Sacramento. It's the reason you never go to the postseason. What the fuck are you asking for? What are you asking for? So you can unload your slop to me. I've watched Buddy Hield play enough. Okay, I told people before, he's not 25, he's 28. All right, and he's gotten worse. Gotten worse his entire career. He's a perennial loser now because he's been in a losing organization, and sometimes you get that stench on you, and then you become a loser. Exactly what happened to Bradley Beal, sadly, because out of college and first few years in the pros, I actually like Buddy Hield, not Bradley Beal. I actually like Buddy Hield, but as time's gone on, he's had the stench of losing all over him, and he's fallen into that trap. Harrison Barnes is one places, so like Harrison Barnes, you can give me like maybe hasn't fell into the stench of being a total loser, all right, but. I mean, then it's all for Halliburton. So I'm trading you all that, which makes you a postseason team the second those two step on the court for you. Not this year, but in the next year. Now you're considered a Western Conference top 7 team potentially, right? Just with those two walking in the door for you. I don't care what anybody's got to say. I hate Ben Simmons, but if he plays and Tobias plays, guess what? Sacramento's pretty good then. And I'm not saying they're cutting that down good. They're just a playoff team. They go from not making one for fucking ever to a playoff team. Why you unload the slop to me? Absolutely not. Absolutely not on that one. So that's the only one I agree on Daryl with.
Yeah, I do too. There's only There's only we talked about this a couple. We talked about this last night actually. There's Am I echoing on your side by the way?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I am.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, I am.
Yeah, a little
I
bit.
don't mind, but
Frank, go ahead. Well, go ahead. Well, yeah, so I'm not echoing.
Yes. So I'm like hearing echoes too. I'm going crazy.
okay. Well,
Okay, well then stop talking, Frank. Okay, well then stop
agree
talking.
or disagree to the poll. Noah, go ahead, Noah. Good to have you.
Hey, I'm going to go ahead and go. Listen, I got news for you. Unless your name's Joel Embiid, why the fuck am I echoing? Nobody is untouchable unless your name's Joel Embiid.
I agree with that. You know, nobody on this roster is essentially untouchable besides Joe. Now, are we clamoring to trade these guys? Right? Are we advocating for this? No. But again, if the right guy comes across your desk as a general manager and you feel like this guy can get me further than I've ever gotten before, you have to consider.
Then you gotta pull the trigger.
So I mean, I don't know what else, again, what else you say about it. It's just one of those situations where, okay, do you put him in a Beal deal? No, I think they're asking for too much there, right? But would you put Matisse in that deal? Maybe. Like, not fully against it. Right? But I'm trying to add without subtracting. Like the only one I want to subtract is Ben Simmons and picks. So let me make this clear. The only thing I want to subtract from this basketball team is Ben Simmons and picks.
Are you cool with Harris?
You're all assholes out in the chat, and I love you all. If you wouldn't trade him for a top 5 to 10 player in the league, you're crazy. You're insane. Because then you would have Joel Embiid, player X on whoever that would be, and Tobias Harris, and Seth Curry, and Danny Green. Come on, guys. Then you got a big 3. You have an air quote big 3. Tobias averaging 18 a game is your third guy. He's a pretty good guy then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would put Maxey in that trade. For sure.
Don't get me wrong. I hope we keep Maxey. I think he's got a lot of great potential. He's already shown a lot of great signs of being a future superstar. But for the right player, you got to do what you got to do.
If it gets you over the hump, then pull the trigger. That's what I'm like.
Yep.
That's what I was saying before. Like I like Maxey, obviously, and he's still going to keep growing. Right? What do you have?
Does Beal get us over the hump, though, Nate?
I think he does.
When you have to give Tyrese too, though.
I think he does. I think with this team.
I just don't think you can. I don't think you have to give up Maxey for Bradley Beal. That's my opinion. I don't think you have to give up Maxey.
Ralphie, I agree with you too.
Because, like Tommy said, you're getting a player that's 25 years old right now that's been on the first team all defense for what? Almost for 2 years in a row, 3 years in a row, however it is. We all know he can't shoot the ball. It is what it is. You're getting a guy that's 25 years old that has 4 years at a contract that you can manage him. You can do whatever you want with him. Then you have Bradley Beal, a guy that has a year and a half left, has already told you, hey, I don't know if I want to sign here. He already told you that in the offseason.
And I think next
so
year,
Beal's
up for a Superman.
Why am I throwing Tyrese Maxey in the deal? Why am I doing that when I can just throw in Ben and maybe another guy for Bradley Beal?
Yeah, nobody would.
I don't think you have to give up Maxey for Bradley Beal.
And I would completely agree with you, Robert. I don't think you have to, but if you get close to the deadline and this is the deal, I think you pull the trigger. I do. I just think you pull the trigger because, like you said, Tom, quote unquote, big 3, Embiid, Beal, Harris I think it's better than Embiid, Maxey, Harris. Like I'm taking that three 9 times out of 10. I won't even say
10
but
that big 10. 3, but that big 3 right now is a half a game out of the first out of the number 1 seed right now, though. That big 3 of Maxey,
Ralphie.
I
We've been at the top of the mountain before.
I understand that, but you had a point guard in Ben Simmons who's a different guy. But you have a guy like Tyrese Maxey who's a different guard than Ben Simmons, who can get to the hole, who can shoot the ball, who can do the pick and rolls, a little bit better than Ben Simmons, right? He doesn't clog the lane for Joel Embiid. Like you already right now, you've seen what that big 3 has done for the Sixers. I'm not moving Tyrese Maxey. If Washington comes and say, hey, we want Maxey for Beal, or we want Simmons and Maxey and maybe like a second rounder for Beal, I'm not doing it. I don't think
anybody here is doing it. Like I don't agree with Nate on that. Like I don't pull that trigger. I don't need to.
No, I don't pull the trigger.
I don't know what the poll became Bradley Beal. Take Bradley Beal out of the poll.
I assume with the poll question, I thought it was just the Sixers and for Bradley Beal, not across the league. Because, I agree to the poll, that Maxey is untouchable. I think he's a cornerstone to, getting some youth on this team, a guy who's already an upgrade from Ben Simmons as is. But, trading for Bradley Beal, I mean, it sounds nice, but I think the person that I would trade that's probably more expendable is Matisse.
Yeah, listen, the conversation I had last night was untouchable, period. That's the conversation. So it became Bradley Beal, which I don't put him in a deal for Bradley Beal. There's no need to, right? I'm just not.
And that's why with the poll, there's no wrong answers with the poll, right? You could say agree and say he's not untouchable, but for, Bradley Beal, or excuse me, you could say disagree that he's untouchable, and you could, give out the list of players and you move Maxey for those top 3 players that you want. And you could say agree that he's untouchable in a Bradley Beal trade. There's no wrong answers for this.
Harden? Would you take him? Would you put him in there for Harden?
Yeah, I would, yes, because Harden puts you over the top. Harden puts you over the top.
Beal doesn't.
Harden's better.
No.
I know Harden's better.
Harden is better than Beal.
I feel like Harden's better, but I don't think Beal's that far behind him.
Well, Beal goes into my stench gate. He's like a stench gate to me, right? Like he's been around losing a long time, and I don't like that. I don't give too much up for that, right? Like okay, now a guy like James Harden,
Tommy, Harden's won. Where's Harden won?
He's been to conference finals a lot. Like let's be fair here. Like I understand that, but don't please. The only benefit.
But he didn't have Embiid when he lost those.
The only benefit from Beal over Harden is the age, right? That's where Harden sort of gets you. Yeah. He's got such an old man game anyway. I don't think it matters. Like his game, just to me, is a guy who can score till he's 38. Like he just, and if you have Embiid and Joel on Sunday, if you have Embiid and Harden, the games are going to take 6 hours. I mean, literally 6 hours.
Build a fucking house on the free throw line.
They'll be there all night, Ralph. They'll be there all night.
Absolutely. And like we talked about it last week a little bit too, with Harden in the pick and roll. Like that pick and roll, like as of right now on paper, with those 2 paired up, would be deadly. It would be insane.
How is it not deadly with Beal? Are you kidding me?
I don't think just because of the way that Harden attacks the rim and can get to the free throw line too, and he's leading the league in assists. Wait, I think it's like 10.2.
I would lead the league in assists too with Durant and fucking Irvin on my team. Shit. You got
but Durant's has been hot and cold all year. In the standpoints of hot and cold, I mean, like he's been on the court, off the court, on the court, and obviously everything that's going on with Kyrie.
This is the first
and he's still leading the league in assists.
Yeah,
listen, if he can do what he did in Houston with Clint Capella, and Clint Capella, like I said last week, he has no mid-range game, and he doesn't shoot the 3 ball at all. And now you're giving James Harden, a big man who can shoot the mid-range, who can get to the hole, and he can shoot the 3. Oh my God, sign me up, and I'm not even a Sixers fan, Nate. I mean, that's lovely right there, dude.
No, I mean, I'm a Harden fan. I've always been a Harden fan, and I've always defended Harden. But I don't think that the talent gap is that big between Harden and Beal. And if you, I'm trying to think, like, if you had Harden at what, maybe just say, if you had Harden at 5, Beal's what? 8, maybe 9,
What do you mean? What do you
Like
mean, best players?
if you rank them,
Rank
if you
them?
if you kind of rank them, if you had Harden at 5, if you had Harden was your fifth player, Harden was your fifth player. Where would Beal be? Where would Beal be? Behind Harden.
Beal's a little bit outside the top 10. He's outside the top 10.
He's outside of the top 10.
I would
He's
say
outside
so.
of the top 10?
Maybe like 11, 11 or
Maybe like
12, 11 or 12 for Beal. For Beal.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I mean, I have to look at every player in the league. But, I mean, listen, you don't have to put Maxey in a deal for Beal. It's as simple as that. Not something you have to do. But I just want people to avoid the untouchable because there's always a price for somebody really special that you owe it. You owe it to your generational player. And that's the facts of the matter. It's a star-driven league. Tyrese Maxey has a ton of upside, right? Love his game. All right, but if you're talking to me that I can get stars in return and that's a deal breaker, then it's a no-brainer. But for Bradley Beal and some other names, he doesn't need to be in a deal, nor should he. Because, again, I am in the business of trading Ben Simmons. I am not in the fucking business of trading young up-and-coming players. I'm just not in the business for that. I didn't sign up this year to trade anything besides Ben Simmons. In the offseason, if you told me Tyrese Maxey had to be in the deal for Damian Lillard, then I got to do it. I got to do it. I owe it to this fan base and my star player to make certain moves like that, okay? But there's only a handful of guys that Tyrese Maxey is in a deal for. Now, if you talk to me and you call me up and say, Tom, what about Jaylen Brown? I'm driving you to the airport, Tyrese, and I love you.
Yeah.
All right? So there's certain players that, like, stop it with the untouchable. Like, be in the middle where I am. Is he untouchable in most deals? Absolutely. But there's certain guys that you cannot tell me he's untouchable for. And that's just being fair. I listen, you listened to me on draft night. You've listened to me clamor about this team before the season started, you guys. We all did a show together, and I told you in the playoffs, I think they're a better basketball team than they were the year before. And that's with nothing back for Ben Simmons. That's just a guy at the point guard position that will create and make plays, which will help your big man out. They space the floor better than they did last year. Once you hit the postseason, it becomes a half-court game. Well, as long as you're not 4-on-5, you're a better basketball team than you were the year before. That's fact. I don't care about how great a defense the guy played. That's just facts. How much better? I don't know. Maybe they get past the second round. But that's not our goal, right? That's not our end goal. So at the end of the day, we have $35 million just sitting around here that needs to be moved. And listen, if Matisse Thybulle has to go for Bradley Beal, then I got to do it. I'm not like I would rather not trade Danny and Matisse that are two really good defenders. But if I had a pick, I'm trading Matisse over Danny.
Yeah, just because Danny gives you the offense. You know what I mean?
Listen, he's a big shot guy. He might be 0 for 7 from 3, and then you got 30 seconds left in the game and he'll bang a 3 for you. Right? Like, that's Danny.
Yeah.
He's a winner. I want to keep guys that have won around here. Like, we're not in it. This is what I want to tell people. We're not in it for 8 years from now, guys. We're not in it for 6 years from now. So all the untouchable people, we are in it for right now. We have 4 years to go cut nets down and be a dynasty. So do you want to wait again and trust the motherfucking process, or are you trying to win? Because if you're trying to win, he's in a deal for Dame if he was healthy. He's in a deal for Kyrie if Kyrie wasn't a loser. He's in a deal for Jaylen Brown. He's in a deal for some of these really special guys, especially Jaylen Brown, who's young, right? Like, especially young guys. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I'm sorry, I got to drive you to the airport. So there's certain deals that I got to put him in for. Now, these also, when you talk about Brown, you talk about Shea, these guys are under contract for a minute. Mm-hmm. Bradley Beal is not. He is not. So you are not. I'm going to repeat. You are not getting anything more than Ben Simmons and some picks. Because it ain't no sign and trade bullshit. This is I'm making a deal, and this guy's coming here, and hopefully he likes it here. And if he doesn't like it here and he walks, guess what? Now I got to go out start hunting because I'll have a max contract spot open on my basketball team. But I don't want to make that deal with Tyrese, Matisse, Danny, and then lose Bradley Beal. So now I'm losing even more. That doesn't make sense to me. That will never make sense to me. That's why he should never. That's why like the Bradley Beal shouldn't have sort of stayed out of the poll question because of what comes with Bradley Beal. It's a rental. No. You get nothing for a rental, honey. I'm giving you a guy under contract for 4 years.
Yeah.
What are you talking
I'm
about?
only gonna have and it's especially if he does leave, you only have him for a year and a half. You know what I mean? So you're not going to be giving up.
Yeah.
You're not going to be giving up, everything that you have just to get one guy that might leave in a year and a half. While you're giving a guy up that has 4 years, that you can do whatever you want for 4 years.
Yeah, to your point, fellas, I mean, we can't afford to waste Embiid's prime years. I mean, he's in his prime years now. Obviously this is a win. We're in win now mode. So yeah, I mean, if the right star and the right deal comes along, I mean, look, if Maxey has to be included for the right deal, then you drive him to the airport. That's all there is to it. So
Lord says, how do y'all trade Thybulle over Green? Well, Lord, again, what are you talking about? I mean, you're talking about a guy like Danny that can do both things Matisse does. Like, again, I'm not taking a shot at Matisse, but like, can we stop? I don't want to trade either one of them. That's the whole point here. All right, I'm trying to add, not subtract and add. All right, but you can't tell me that Danny Green's career isn't a little bit more proven in the postseason, Lord, than Matisse Thybulle. Can we wake up here? As much as I give Danny heat for some nights just going through cardio, he's on a cardio workout. He's just on the bike. They're working, getting a little sweat going. All right, but Lord, how many big shots does that dude hit in the postseason to help teams win finals? How many, Lord? Don't do this.
Help me.
Danny Green, you can hate some nights, but don't act like the guy has won everywhere he's been, Ralphie, right?
Yeah, he's helped me.
At the end of his career, Lord, we're trying to win right now. What are you talking about? We are trying. I can't do this today. We are trying to win immediately. Immediately.
Lord help me.
I can find a million Matisse Thybulles, a million guys that can play good defense. I mean, jerk me off. I just had a guy that you sat here, Lord, and crowned for years that he was untouchable. Well, here we are. Here we are, Uncle Lordy. Here we go. I'm fired up now. I'm fired up. I hate the guy. Then some guys just come in and the first thing out of their mouth is untouchable. Period. I remember my first time watching basketball. I really do. Period. Get the frick out of here. So if I'm giving you a top 5 player, you ain't trading them, Mr. Periods? Shit, you all sound like you're on your period with that nonsense. All due respect to the women that are going through that. But, we have some men that might be dabbling in it too. I mean, I'm fired up.
Would you do this trade for Beal? All right. Sixers get Bradley Beal. Wizards are getting Simmons, Jaden Springer.
It's all crazy.
A 2024 first rounder and a 2020 second first rounder.
Say it again, Ralph, because you were like cutting in and out.
Okay, so the Sixers are getting Bradley Beal. Wizards are getting Simmons, Springer, a first in 2022 and a first in 2024.
It's the deal that Ryan just put in the chat.
Yeah.
Take it.
Yeah.
How do I know he's on the back end way in the fucking machine? Do I know a guy? I mean, do we know a guy? Yeah. Who doesn't make that deal?
Yeah.
That's
yeah. I'm doing.
Go ahead, Ralphie.
Yeah. I'm doing. No, I'm doing that because I don't care about picks. As of right now.
How's it not realistic, Pop? The guy's a rental. He's a rental. He said he probably ain't going to sign back there. You can't publicly. Oh my God! Tonight's gonna be one of these nights. I just know it. Now you got to give up the whole farm for Bradley Beal. What has Bradley Beal done? It's great. He averages 28 a night. If you're that good, you're gonna win some games, Nate. Oh my God, Nate! If you're that good, you're gonna win a game or two.
They won a couple.
Come on. Couple. How many times did Bradley Beal been to the postseason?
Who's ever played with him in Washington?
John Wall.
I just had Ross.
John Wall.
I mean,
John Wall.
Wall. How many times has Wall had injuries?
I don't know. Probably a million.
You know what I'm saying? So he's never really had anybody in Washington. And then they didn't think he could be the guy, and then he stepped up and kind of been the guy. I mean, he hangs 50 on us. Shit.
No, listen. Bradley Beal is a great scorer in this. Like, I just don't need to give up more than what I'm giving up. Like, that's enough. They're getting the guy that they would want in Ben Simmons. I mean, the deal is almost a straight up deal, and we're just going to toss you in a little extra. And he goes to a place where they're not good and nobody cares, and then he'll make them better. So it'll be all about Ben. I know how this works. So everybody in Washington, don't worry about it, because he'll be ready to play when it's all about Ben. And Joel makes everybody better. John, you're right. I don't know if he signs with the Sixers, Jason. That's why I'm not giving up anything more than Ben Simmons outside of picks. I'll give you Springer. It's just a filler. Laura said, "Who said untouchable?" I didn't say any period comment. Bring me on. It's an equal podium to debate. I send you a trade proposal on Twitter. I haven't got a chance to look at your trade proposal on Twitter. No respect. I'm moving and shaking every day here. All right, Lord. It's nonstop over here. I don't care. And with all due respect, not to you, I don't care about trade proposals. I care about when a deal gets done. You know what I mean? I can trade proposal my whole life away. You know? And what do you mean? Bring you on. The debate what? What are we debating? You don't. So you're telling, just answer the question and debate's over. You wouldn't put Tyrese Maxey in a deal if that got you back a top 8 player in basketball.
Hey, Lord, it's a great segue to jump in here. Members only will be able to debate. We are working on a show. I will be hosting. Tom is going to come on every once in a while. We'll be coming up with a new show for you guys to get on here and talk your shit. So don't worry, it's coming.
Tommy, I think the echo's coming from you, brother.
From me?
Yeah.
Everything's set up fine on my end, guys. So I don't know why we're, you hit me in a sidebar. You know what I mean? Hit me in a sidebar.
I'm just saying. Don't take my head off. I'm just saying.
I'm not. I just,
I'm just saying.
I'm sure from my millions of times doing a show with the same setups, I don't know what would be different. So I don't know what's coming, what's happening.
Let's run with it.
I don't know.
I'll echo this sentiment. Let's not waste Joel Embiid's prime years. Let's get after it now.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
No, for sure. I completely agree with that. Like, we have what? I don't know, another 3 years of this?
Don't get me wrong. I would love for Maxey to stay, and I obviously hope he does. But if we somehow get the top player in all of basketball, it is what it is.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. I feel you on that. For sure.
I just think that everything is going. I don't know if they even make a move at the deadline.
When is the deadline? The
10th. It's next week. It's next week.
It's the 10th, right? It's the 10th, right?
Yeah.
What time? Is it
what time?
4, 1, 4, 1,
10
a.m., 10 p.m., 10 a.m., p.m.?
No, it's 4 p.m. 4 p.m. is the deadline.
4 p.m. is the deadline?
Yeah, February 10th, 4 p.m. is when it goes off. I just think wholeheartedly they see everything that's going down with, and going back to the big three of where Maxey, like you were saying, Nate, where Maxey and Harris and Embiid, and they think to themselves, okay, well, we're a good enough team as it is right now. Do we really have to move Ben and get more pieces. You know what I mean? Or bring in another guy at this point. Or do you make like a small trade and, just get a veteran that's like, that team doesn't want him, and you can give them like 2 second-round picks, almost like what you did. What was it, 2 years ago with Alec Burks and who was the other guy that they got at the deadline from Golden State? The guy didn't even play a lick, but
I know who you're talking about, but
yeah.
he's so forgettable.
Somebody in the comments can please remind me who it was. But you could do a deal like that, right? A team that doesn't want a veteran guy, it's not getting minutes. You throw him 2 second-rounders, and you level out your bench a little bit more, and you just go on from there.
Robinson?
What?
Was it Robinson?
Was it Robinson?
I think so. It might have been
Robinson for sure.
Am I still echoing?
Let's see. We're good.
No, you're good. You're good.
You're good.
Yeah, no, I think it was. Yeah, it was Glenn Robb. Yeah.
Glenn Robinson. That's who it was. We were just saying, Tommy, to the point where the trade deadline is where, do the Sixers even make a move to where they see themselves like, okay, maybe we don't have to make a big splash and get a superstar in here because we're half a game out of the first spot in the East. Or maybe we just, make a trade for a veteran player that a team doesn't want. And I was just, referring to the situation 2 years ago where, you just traded 2 second-rounders and you got Glenn Robinson and Alec Burks. And obviously Alec Burks played pretty good for you guys down the stretch. And then, Glenn Robinson didn't play at all. But maybe like a trade like that, you trade for a veteran guy and he evens out your bench a little bit.
Yeah. I think there's definitely going to be some buyout options.
Yeah.
You could go to the buyout market as well.
And that's what I'm thinking too. With this deadline, I don't think we're going to make a splash come the trade deadline. I know that the trade talks are going to be heating up, and we're going to be seeing all these rumor mills as we've been seeing the past several months now with trading Ben Simmons. I think we'll be close to a trade to where we get somebody like a Beal or a Harden, but I just don't see the trigger being pulled at the deadline, and maybe we'll see that Beal or Harden trade happen in the offseason.
I see Beal more than Harden. If Harden comes, it won't be to the offseason. I think he finished in Brooklyn. I don't think.
Yeah, you're not going to get Beal in the offseason because you can't pay him.
Yeah.
So he's out. So it's either now or you get him in house and then you can pay him because the money opens up, or you get nothing. You know what I mean? So. Yeah. Like to your point, Frank, about Harden, yeah, absolutely could see that in the offseason, no questions asked. I mean, I think that's the big fish, the guy that got away for that
surprise piece.
Yeah, I think it's like that, it's that chick that left you and you just can't get over.
She's divorced now. She's divorced.
But hold on, can we get Bill and Harden?
No, not enough.
Not enough money. That'd be amazing, but I don't see that happening.
Not enough money.
We don't have enough money to match it all to get it.
Is it because of Harris? Is Harris the problem?
Well, no, because you'd put Harris in one of the.
Could you?
I mean, he's max money. I mean,
he's max money. So if he's,
but nobody's. That's the point, though. That's the point. Like nobody's taking him. I like the buy. I think he's solid. He's just never going to be worth that money. But people make him out to be a bad basketball player, especially in this city, which he's not.
He's just not a number 2. That's all.
But people said the same. I just want people to hear this out. People in Milwaukee before last year told everybody, if you're in any Milwaukee conversations ever, that Chris Middleton could never be that second.
Could never be the Robin to Giannis. Yeah.
I don't understand why.
And what did he do in the playoffs last year, Tommy? Oh my goodness.
He had terrible postseason.
Saved her ass a couple times.
I would never understand that. Middleton's always been.
Now I'm moving you. Because I'm telling you, I'm telling you what they were saying.
You couldn't wait to do it. You couldn't wait to do it.
I get triggered.
The king of the mountain just for one fucking minute, could you?
You were. It might have been 10. But with the facts of the matter is, he had bad postseasons up until this last one, and that was the big thing. Where in Milwaukee, they felt like they needed something alongside Giannis. They get Drew Holiday, again, not a star, but they had the best player in basketball. And that's sort of where the Sixers are at. No, they had their big guy in Joel, and then good players around him. That's what they're at right now with Maxey and Harris as their options.
I agree with that. But I don't – we have to wait to see what Maxey becomes, right? And that's the only reason why I would pull a trade, because you got to wait 2 more years to see what Maxey becomes. And by the time he gets there, Embiid might be trailing off to where he's at. I don't think he's going to have a big fall. You know what I mean? I don't think he's just going to all of a sudden be trash or something like that. But you know what I mean? I mean, there's a lot of big men who've been able to last for long, and Embiid is, and I think Embiid is just he's just getting to the peak. But you know, by the time we figure out what Maxey is at this point, you know what I mean? Because his game is still developing. When I was watching the game today, right, and I'm remembering, you know, he looks more seasoned, he looks more confident, he's got the ball in his hand. The energy from the kid is, you know, he's still a kid out there. You know what I mean? Like, you see him play, smiling, laughing, like he's still a kid. And I don't know if that's is that enough to get you over the hump. Now they're doing well, obviously, they lost today, so we're 1.5 out of first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But that's still good for a guy that wasn't supposed to be your starting point guard this year.
And Ralphie, I agree. But to go back to what Tommy said in the beginning of the show, why he wouldn't give up Danny's a vet. He's a pro.
Exactly.
He's seen it. You need that.
Yeah, Lord, I'm not telling you to Matisse Thybulle, like, to your point, Lord. Like, I like Matisse. So don't think I'm, like, hating the Matisse. I don't think you got to move him either. So the point is, like, I'm not trying to move either one of them. But if you had a gun to my head and I'm trying to win right now, I'm going to take Danny. And that's not saying Danny. That's not crown party for Danny Green here either. I thought I made that pretty clear.
I just think go ahead. My bad.
No, go ahead. I was just going to, after that, I'm going to bring up what me and Ryan talked about a little bit on Monday. And I want your guys' opinions on it. Okay. So go ahead, Ralphie.
No, I just think everybody gets soured over Danny Green in some ways because they saw what happened in Game 5 of the finals 2 years ago, where game on the line, he misses that wide open 3 that he rarely misses. And it sours some people to this day still. So they always go back to that play. But at the end of the day, like you said, Tommy, Danny Green, wherever he's been in his career, has always won and has been on, you know, has always won and has always taken that next step, right? Yeah, obviously some nights he's scored 2 points here and 4 points here, but when you need a big shot from him, most of the time, I would say 90% of the time, he's there for you. He's always been there for you.
Overrated about Danny. Danny's played with a lot of really good players too. Like
but he's also hit big shots though.
No, I'm not saying he has
the role he's been in for his career.
No,
he's also hit big shots.
I mean, he hit a big shot today, right? They were down by 4. He hit a big 3 with like 2 seconds left, right? So I'm not saying that he's not a gunner and he can't pull the trigger, but I mean, he has played with 10 fucking Duncan and LeBron James. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you just made my point.
Best of the best.
No, but you just made my point though.
But he plays his role so well, though.
Yeah, he's a glue guy, Nate. He's a glue guy.
He gives you a different aspect on the offensive side of in the half court offense than Thybulle does.
Pro is what he is.
Yes,
he's a veteran. He's a
absolutely.
Pro. Yeah,
and you also got to sit down. The Sixers front office also has to sit down and look themselves in the mirror and say to themselves, "Okay, how much left of Joel Embiid do we have left?" Right? Maybe the window's 3 years, maybe the window's 6 years. We don't know. But realistically, it's probably 3 to 4 years we have left of Joel Embiid in his prime, right? Or that window of opportunity to win the championship. If I'm them, I just say, hey, if the right deal comes on the table and a top 5 player comes knocking at the door, listen, I'll listen, and whoever you want if it gets me over the hump.
See, this is what
and not even that, we're star chasing too, right? We're star chasing, and we just saw last year when you put the right pieces together, when you put you put a solid team together, you can win. You don't need to put these huge stars together and win, right? So, maybe we're reaching too high.
And in some ways, you could also
have to, because you have a max guy in Ben, so you got to get ultimate return.
Yeah, you have to.
You have to. So I get that. So I reason why that. But in the chat, I'm seeing Donovan Mitchell. We're talking about Bradley Beal. We're talking about Harden. These are all max,
max type players.
In the elite conversation, top 15 players in the league.
And also the Sixers are in I don't know if you guys agree with this, but are in somewhat of a damn if you do, damn if you don't situation right now, right? If you move Ben or you make a move at the deadline and you get a piece back and you go to Broad Street, everybody's happy, right? But then if you don't move Ben or you don't make any pieces at the deadline and it's another second round exit, then this is like kind of like what happened last year, right? With the whole Kyle Lowry situation where nobody wanted to throw Maxey or Thybulle in the deal for Lowry, right? And then you got bounced in the second round, excuse me. So maybe another damn if you do, damn if don't situation for the Sixers to where if we don't make a move and we get bounced in a second round, damn, I should have taken that. I should have taken that trade for Simmons, or I should have taken this trade. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys kind of agree with that.
I agree with that because like he's not a star, but he's a pro and he can be a star at times. And I think we're more closer to what Milwaukee was last year when they won than, maybe like another team that has like, 3 big stars in like Brooklyn, even though Golden State was like homegrown, they still had 3, elite stars, but then they added Durant at one point. So they had their big 3.
But also won without him, though. You gotta remember that too.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they did it the right way, though.
Yeah. Through the draft.
They were homegrown. Mark Jackson taught them boys how to play basketball. Before Kerr just took them over the hump. Yep. So, but I think from if you look at how our team's constructed, I actually think we're actually closer to what Milwaukee was last year, than anything. You got your Giannis is a all do everything big man, same with Embiid, looking like an MVP level. And Embiid, for my bettors out there, Embiid I think is still plus money, for odds for MVP.
Yeah, he is.
He's still plus money. I think the odds are short, but if he, knock on wood, if as long as he stays healthy, finishes up, he should take that home.
But yet again, to that point though, Nate, to where, how the Sixers are almost like Milwaukee from last year. The question is yet again, going into the playoffs is, can Tobias be that number 2 for you, right? Can he be that consistent player night in and night out for you in the playoffs?
I think you got to.
And that's been the big question for about 2 to 3 years now for the Sixers going into the playoffs.
I don't think he's here. I think you got to trade for him.
So you don't think he's here past the deadline?
No. I mean, I don't think that number 2 player you're talking about is on this team right now.
Oh, gotcha.
I think we have a bunch of number 3 options. We don't have that consistent. You have to trade for that number 2, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people talk about defense, right? And I just want to tell those people, we talked about defense in this city for the last 3 years. We talked about having a palms up group and a palmsy group, and we can defend better than anybody in the league, right? And it's never aged well for us. Like in the postseason where you think it would, it never did, right? Like it never was like, oh, we're so good defensively that we beat teams because we locked them down. So to Daryl Morey, who is reluctant, and he's made it clear to put Maxey or Matisse in a Beal deal, which again, the Maxey completely understood. Where I draw the line on Daryl Morey right now is the Matisse Thybulle. Like where he's untouchable in a Bradley Beal deal, I think he's delusional now. Now I think Daryl Morey's asking for too much per se, even though Beal's on a rental. Because at the end of the day, you have to give up some of those types of things to be able to acquire. You're not giving up a star. You're not giving up a guy that you think has star potential. You're giving up a role player who plays extremely good defense. We've had that here. We've had that. I got a rim protector who plays tremendous defense. And you know what I got behind him? Another rim protector who plays tremendous defense. So I don't want to hear about I need all these wing defenders. I got 2 guys that you can't drive to the bucket on. 2 guys that make it extremely difficult. We watched it with Ja the other night with just Drummond in there. Going to the bucket really hard. Drummond made it tough for him. And that's not even Embiid. And I told you all and not just me, like I told y'all. I told people when we signed Drummond, it was the gigantic upgrade from Dwight Howard. And people laughed about it. They laughed. I remember in the chat, no, he's not. No, he's not. This team is better than they were last year. I don't care what anybody has to say. So you are that piece away from being even better. Does everybody understand that? Is Daryl Morey understand that? And that's without giving up Tyrese Maxey. So whatever you get back, you're now so much deeper. So if you give up Matisse and you get Beal back, you're really replacing the two right now, essentially. And then you're going to get guys in the buyout market that are willing to play a little bit of defense because they'll know their role, like the PJ Tuckers of the world. Like you're going to be able to get those guys because guess who you have here? You have. Think about this. You have Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, Bradley Beal, and Tobias Harris. If you don't think that's the best four in the East, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. There isn't a better four in the Eastern Conference. There just isn't. Overall, you can name four guys that equal what those guys are going to bring you night in, night out. Because they're pretty consistent guys numbers-wise. We disagree with that? Or anyone want to argue with that?
No, but I don't disagree.
I want to, but I can't.
Yeah, it's hard to, right? Like I almost want to argue with myself because, like, what are you saying, Tom? They're better this year with $35 million sitting at home, and I'm telling you, they are. I watch them every night.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's literally insane. And the whole plan for Simmons to sit out, and it totally backfired on him. Backfired on him. Because it's now showing, like you said, Tommy, 35 million sitting at home, and you're almost the number one seed in the East.
Yeah.
I don't know, Ben.
Frank, if I'm sitting at home and I'm that guy and I'm watching this, I'm even more sour. And that's what's happening.
Oh, yeah. More sour. Absolutely.
Oh, sourpuss. Hey, Mr. Sourpuss. Because he don't like to see this. Now, Calvin, they have a good four. Their four is not better than that four. Not even close. Not even close. Not even close. Joel Embiid and Bradley Beal say, hold my beer to all four of them. To all four of them. Night-night. Night-night. I don't even got to get to Tobias and Tyrese. Night-night. Because there ain't two guys on that roster that are those types of players. There's really good players. DeMar DeRozan, really good player. Right? Zach LaVine, really good player. Vuk, really good player. Right? Ball, Lonzo, really good player. Not better than that four. Come on, people. It ain't better than that four. That's a better four, and they've become the favorites in the Eastern Conference. The favorites. And all you have to do is just give them Matisse and a pick, as well as Ben. Come on, guys. You ain't driving them to the airport.
That should be an easy. That should be an easy one for all Sixers fans.
Well,
that should be.
I just read the article from David Aldridge, Ralphie. That's where I got it from. Because David Aldridge was saying that he's reluctant and made it clear that he is not willing. He's held firm. This is okay. According to David Aldridge and Josh Robbins of The Athletic, the Sixers have held firm in their stance that they specifically don't want to make guard Tyrese Maxey or wing Matisse Thybulle part of a package for Beal. We all agree with one of them. Yeah. But the other one, you're an idiot then. Because now you're wasting. Now that's the definition of wasting.
And that comes back to my damn if you do, damn if you don't, right? You don't do the trade, right? You stand pat. You don't do the trade. You don't move anybody. And then you get bounced in the second round again. And then another summer, you're sitting there saying, damn it, I should have made that trade.
Yeah.
Or damn it, I should have did this.
Or maybe it's
right
going to be, damn it, let's go after James Harden right now and hope he doesn't get cold feet.
Yep, that too, Frank. Brandon, I think you're wrong.
Yeah, I just saw this comment too. I was about to click it too. I think you're wrong too. There's not. First of all, Kyrie doesn't play at home games, so you know what I mean. So you have to take that into account.
I give you Kyrie at home. I'll give you Kyrie at home because I'm getting scoring from Seth, dude. I didn't even bring up. Right, I'm getting what Danny brings, and I'm probably getting a buyout or two. Right, like I'm probably getting a buyout here. Somebody wants to come here and play. So if they don't make a deal, guys, this is what it comes down to. Let's circle back to not making a deal because that's always, it's probably pretty realistic, but it's not like off the table fully. But if they don't, and our question sort of Monday was like, how far can they really go? And I know Charles Barkley was like, they have no chance of winning it.
We've seen Charles been wrong,
and I love Chuck. But my question to you guys is what's your chances? Because and if you have no chance, I want to hear from you out there because as long as you have Joel Embiid, I feel like you got a chance. Now, how good of a chance is that? That's what's up for debate. But this is still a really good basketball team that just really needs to get a little bit deeper because they've been playing without like a bench for the most part, like a few guys, but they've been really limited on what they've had too. And we got to factor that in too. So, like how far does this team go or can go if it's just a buyout or two?
Do we finish one? Are we the number 1 seed?
I'm going to say we finish in the top 3.
Because I'm thinking in my head, I'm looking at the matchups. It's all about matchups. It's all it is. Who do you see in the first round? I think we get past the first round. Right now the Bucks are at 4. So right now we're the 3rd seed. So the playoffs ended today. Who do we see? Toronto?
Yeah, the 6th seed.
Yeah, the Raptors.
Whoever the 6th seed is.
Oh, the 6th seed. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought the playoffs went 10 deep.
No, it's still 8.
It's still 8? Oh, okay. My
yeah,
bad.
1 and 8, 2 and 7, 3 and 6, 4 and 5.
So I'm not worried about Brooklyn. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Ralph, they're not. I'm sorry, they're not doing the play-in.
They're still
no, they are doing the play-in. It's still 8 teams make it though from each conference.
Okay. So right now it'd be Chicago and Toronto. It'd be the Heat and Charlotte, us and the Brooklyn, and then the Bucks and the Cavs. So I think we take care of Brooklyn. We might even take care of them in 5, maybe 6.
Yeah, I say we beat them in 6.
And then the 3 seed would face the winner of whatever, probably that Milwaukee series. You see, the problem is that second round could be tough. I don't want to see Milwaukee in the second round.
It'll be an entertaining matchup, but that's going to be a really tough one.
But the answer to the question is, I don't know, man. Do they have enough to get? I think they can get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I do.
As constructed right now.
As constructed right now.
I disagree. I disagree with that. I think Joel is good enough to get you to the second round. Like we said before, I don't think the pieces around him are good enough to get him over the hump to help him out in the playoffs. Right? Everything looks great, but think about it though. Everything looks great on a Tuesday night in January in San Antonio, right? But when you have a team that can game plan you for 7 straight games, then we'll really see who wants, who really put their big boy pants on and wants to get this thing rolling. I think Joel's good enough to get you back to the second round. I don't think the pieces around him are good enough to get him and the Sixers over that hump to get them to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, and they're probably not, but if they get the production from those other guys, they can absolutely get to an Eastern Conference Finals. We're not talking about getting past that, but getting over their own little hurdle, they could.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm not saying they're going to the finals.
I don't love it. You know what I mean? I don't love it, but I mean, you watch teams every year that might not be as good as certain teams, at least get to the conference final, and then they don't win it. You know what I mean? But they at least smell it. What about you, Noah? How far can they go?
How far can the Sixers go as the roster is currently looking?
Yep.
Well, if Embiid continues to play at the level that he's been playing right now, I could say they could make the Eastern Conference Finals. Depending, I mean, as Nate was alluding to, I mean, of course, it's all about matchups, but I would say they can get to the Eastern Conference Finals as the team and the roster currently is shaped. But are they cutting nets down? No, absolutely not. But now you get another star to play with Embiid.
Okay, what about bench pieces? What about buyout bench pieces? Is that enough? If you're deeper, just a little bit deeper, because right now they're not getting production from their bench enough. So if they're a little bit deeper and have some scoring off their bench that you can trust a little bit.
No, you still need stars.
You still need a star.
Yeah, you still need stars.
I got one.
Stars with an S.
See, I disagree with that. When we talk about stars with an S, We talk about the guard position. We talk about the forward position. When you're talking about a big man that's this type of a player, I think the other stars sort of go out the window. Do you have enough pieces to surround him that can bury open looks? That's the biggest thing.
Do you think Middleton is a star?
Middleton?
Yeah.
A star? No.
Not an all-star, but just a star.
He's an all-star probably. He's borderline. He probably gets there sometime.
Do you think Holiday's an all-star?
I think Holiday's a very good player. I don't consider him a star, no. They're both extremely good basketball players. Extremely good.
Yeah, to me though, they're I mean, are they stars in like Embiid's conversation? Hell no.
No.
But I think they're star type players for sure.
I don't know.
I mean, they're more than starters. They're better than starter. Just a regular starter.
What am I tripping over, Gator? What am I tripping over? I'm saying if you get deeper and you have a bench that's a little bit stronger, they can't go to an Eastern Conference final. You're talking about a generational big man. We're not talking about the guard position where it's hard to win by yourself. We're talking about we watched this over the years. I mean, if people watch the basketball, they should understand what I'm trying to get at right now. We're not even talking about cutting the nets down. We're not talking about Broad Street. Obviously, I need a guard that's a fucking pimp to go to Broad Street. Maybe that's Maxey. All right? I think he's a little too young for it, but maybe it is. Maybe the moment's not too big for him. Okay, because that's usually what happens in younger players. I don't feel like it'll ever be too big for him, but think about the star big men. That's always been a different conversation. Can we be fair about that?
Yeah, I'll be fair on that one.
Like,
Absolutely.
That doesn't mean they can win it all. I disagree. Like, when Chuck says that, I give him a 10% chance of winning it all, maybe, right? But there's no 0% chance because what happens if Joe goes for 40 a night? And he's on. Like, if he's on, they stand a chance. Just like Giannis was on. I mean, Giannis had a great postseason.
Yeah, if Embiid gives you 40 a night, they still need more.
Probably, Nate. Probably. But they were saying the same things in Milwaukee.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they
got PJ Tucker.
A lot of Milwaukee, how Milwaukee was starting to kind of, they were seasoned, right? They kept getting kind of close, and then they kept losing, and then they got some players, some star players that got them over hump, but they embody what you're talking about. They're pros. They can hit big shots, and they know how to play the game.
Yeah, and let me be clear, Nate. You need stars to win it all.
Yeah, for sure.
And when you have a big man, I think you just need one other star. When you have a big man playing at the level he's playing at right now.
And I completely agree because we've seen it before repeat over and over and over.
Over and over. That's what we said in the summer, remember? Hey, all in for Dame because I felt like we win 4 finals in a row with Dame and Embiid. Just feel like we'd be just walking down Broad. We're just living there, right? No, it looks like he's sleeping in a tent on Broad right now. Like, that's what it would be, right? That's what it would be.
No, I agree. I agree with the settlement. The problem is that the only problem with that concept is that guard was, like you said, it was a Dame. It was a superstar, right? It was a superstar that was paired with a big man. Never seen like a big man with just like a star guard or an all-star type guard. They were elite players that played with those big men.
Yeah, and I think Tyrese has the ability to be that, like, scoring-wise and be that guy on the offensive end, but he's still really young, right? But I just feel if I ever paired him with a legit guard who can flat out stroke it, even like a Brown, right, from the Celtics, I think it's over, right? Like, I think
I would love it. If Brown was here, I would love it. But hold on, did you have to give? Are you saying you got to get Maxey up in there, or is that just Ben? And we would get Brown and something else. Or
no, I gotta give up Maxey.
You got to get Maxey and Ben for Brown.
Yeah,
I'm doing that. Sorry,
you're doing that, and you wouldn't do it for Bill.
Are you watch the two play?
Those are two different players.
I feel like Brown is streaky to me.
Those are two different players, brother.
Smooth man. I'm telling you, I say it all the time.
I'm not saying he ain't. I'm not saying he's not.
He's so much younger too, Nate.
How old is he?
He's like 25.
25, 26, yeah. And he's under contract more than a half a year.
I mean, I know I'm not saying he's not he's a great player. He's an all-star type player. I'm not saying he's not. But I just feel like that's a lot. Maxey and Brown. I mean, and Ben for Brown. I mean, he's not even the best player on his team.
That's debatable. I think the other streaky guy's the guy playing next to him.
I would agree with that too.
You know, I think Brown, like they almost clog each other up, dude. They play. I say it all the time. They essentially are the same position guy.
Yeah, like the same player almost.
It's almost unfair. Like get rid of one of them. Like let one of them be by themselves with somebody else that's a star caliber, because I think they both do better. Right? I really do. I truly believe that they both would benefit way more by not playing by themselves, but like having the small forward position to themselves, right? And not having one play to 2 and one play to 4. Like you got Tatum playing to 4 some nights. Like that's a joke. Like stop. So I think how you do it is, you know, is if you get Brown back, you got to give up Tyrese. I don't want to give up Maxey. That's the point. But certain deals like that one, hey, I'm now inclined to have to do it.
Yeah, y'all gonna have to hold the A2D flag on that one by yourself, because I am not on that motherfucking boat. No way. I'm not giving both of it up then for Brown. Yeah, no, sir, no, sir, not for me.
Wow,
not for me. Yeah,
I think Brown, Tobias, and Joel is extremely good. But I hear you. I would rather just do it straight up. But that's where you got to get the tango. That's why the Beal's easier. If Matisse Thybulle is holding up the Bradley Beal deal, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah, man. Maybe the factor of, we got to see these guys 4 times. At the end of the day, I don't care. I do not care about that. I'm here to win a championship and have a parade down Broad Street. I don't care about that. I'll worry about that if we have to see him in the playoffs.
Okay, a lot of people out on Brown.
It's probably he's just not as good as scorer as Bill.
I disagree with that. He's not by himself with all the volume. He averages 25 a night. What are we talking about? Like he isn't by himself. Come on, the offense is going around Bradley Beal in Washington. Can we all be real about this?
Yeah, but he had Wall there. I mean, Russell was there.
Stop it. The offense is going around.
Excuses coming from Nate. Nate, just say agree. Just say agree, Nate. Come on now.
I'm not agreeing with that bubble.
Come on.
Kick me out the top spot. Fuck out of here. Hell no. I'm sticking to what I'm. No. I like Brown. I think Brown is a great player, and I agree with a lot what Tommy said. You could get some arguments where people think Brown might be the better player on the Celtics team. I don't think so. I think it's Tatum. And I don't think it's close, but I agree with the argument when you throw it in my face. I can see the other points of the thing. But the fact of the matter is he is not in the same level of scoring as Bill. He's not.
He is if he played in Washington.
All right.
I'll book that. Yeah, I book that. He'll walk around with 30 a night. There.
I'll own A2D radio by the end of that, because you didn't put A2D's ownership on the line on a couple bets and you reneged on them. So yeah, nah. No, sir. He's not.
All right.
What were you going to talk about Monday? You said you and we talked about that like 30 minutes ago. You said you had a question. You and Ryan you wanted to see what our thoughts were.
Yeah, it was really how far they can go.
Oh, it was how far to go. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's really like how far can they go as constructed, but add in a few bench pieces, right? Like there's some buyouts. Yeah. But I just disagree with you guys about
Conference finals.
I mean, you're talking about a guy who's averaging 24 a night here, a game right now, and he's only gotten better as his volume's gone up, as he's gotten more touches. So I mean, I don't know. I think I'm not going to tell you he's a flat out better scorer than Bradley Beal, but he's sure as hell damn close to him, and he's way younger. And I think when you have those things, I'm all in. Now you can get Tyrese Maxey from me. That's the only way you can. Like, come on, they're not going to do that deal straight up for Ben. No way. But you're giving him a guard? I don't know. I think it's no.
Guard, Maxey to sweeten up the deal a little bit. Yeah, I think they would entertain that. Entertain that.
But then I think this is where the caveat is, Nate. Where I'm going to come over to you for a minute, because I think if you're getting Beal, you don't have to give up Maxey. So I'd rather get that deal. Like I would rather get Beal and not have to give up Maxey than give up Maxey and Ben for Brown. I do deal one. If you had the gun to my head, right? I'm doing deal one. And I love Jaylen Brown. Probably one of arguably my favorite players in the league, and I hate the Celtics.
Yeah, I mean he's been rising up, right? Because I saw Ryan throw a little shot in there about his points average, so I had to go look it up. And the most he's ever averaged is probably close to this year's 24.4. You know, Bill obviously by himself, he's averaged over 30. He led the league in scoring. Was it 2 years in a row? I'm not just. Yeah,
he's obviously a better scorer. I mean, I'm not going to argue he's not a better scorer. That's what I was saying to you. Like, I'm not going to argue that Bradley Beal isn't a better scorer. I just think if he was in Washington, maybe he's doing close to the same thing. But,
maybe.
I mean, he gives you a little bit more.
Sure if Brown has 30 point averaging 30 points in him. I'm not sure.
I think he has it in him. But I mean, like, not a lot of guys score like Beal does either. So. But again, I think it's a better deal because you're not putting Maxey in the deal.
Yeah, for sure.
But what does Washington want, guys? I don't know.
Yeah.
I heard
it all depends on what they want.
Ralph, I heard Washington fans and we're already like making images with Ben Simmons in Wizards gear already. What? Well, it was
make it happen.
Hold on. Sorry for cutting everybody's face off, Ryan. You guys are clueless. Have you guys not come to the realization that forwards and bigs haven't worked as the second and third to go players behind Embiid? Sixers need a point guard and shooting guard. Well, you have a point guard in Maxey. So, I don't know what I don't want to say. He coming and saying clueless. Clueless how, Ryan? Because I'm saying that Jaylen Brown's a damn good player and would go really well with Joel Embiid. Now I'm clueless. So Jaylen Brown is very similar. See, Ryan, I love somebody to fucking light the fire. Light the fire, man. Put the kindling in, Ryan, because now I'm going to expose you. All right? So what position did Kobe Bryant play when he's on the Lakers? And what position did Shaquille O'Neal play? Night. Don't tell me they can't win together. How many been paired up together, Ryan? Answer me that. Riddle me that. How many fucking generational big men, right, and small forwards that can flat out stroke / two guards have signed up together? How many, Ryan? Knock it off. The clueless. But I can do everything you said. Fine. Don't clueless, because now you're kindling, and I expose you, and that's why I'm no notes. Because most people just don't. Okay. So night the fuck night. Bedtime. Tonight's not the night. Tonight's not the night in here. All right. We had a rough night.
Get him, Tommy. Get him.
We had a rough night. So don't tell me that a small forward and a fucking big never win together. They want a lot.
Calvin was jumping on your side too. One with Wade too.
Yeah, I mean, Wade's more, but either way, all three of these guys handle the basketball on the perimeter. Ryan, I'm not teaming him up with another big man. I'm not teaming him up with a guy who needs his back to the basket.
Shit, Kobe did it twice with two bigs.
Not up,
but with Bynum and Gasol.
I just hate using Kobe because he's just like, you know what I mean? It's Kobe.
It's true though. It's true though.
It's Kobe. I mean, I know I agree with it. I agree with it because we've seen it over and over again. A big man star. You know, we see it in San Antonio too. We see it in half year. Go back to Olajuwon.
Yeah, look at San Antonio with Parker and Duncan. Oh my gosh.
Clyde and Clyde.
Match made in heaven. Yeah, another great duo.
Ryan, when has it not worked in here? When have we done it? For a half a season with Jimmy Butler? Not even a half a season? Come on, dude. I mean, it takes a minute, right? I mean, this is the NBA. You got to play together for a half a second. Lord Jesus. Come on.
Half a season with Jimmy, and it was 7 bounces, and you're out. You know what I mean?
You're
7 bounces away from going to the Eastern Conference Finals.
We're comparing Al Horford to Jaylen Brown now, Ryan. Is that what we're doing? I just said to you that, yes, you're not going to go get another guy who needs to back to the basket type player. We're talking, you said we're clueless because how many small forwards was in your thing and power forwards win with a big man? And I'll give you another one. 2 big men won together. A lot. David Robinson, Tim Duncan.
Win Towers.
breaking news: Jahlil Okafor and Jaylen Brown are similar skill sets. This is not.
Jahlil Okafor is still even in the league.
He's fucking playing in China, I think. Just holding on, like I am right now, just holding on to it. Just trying to make sure one last season. Can't do this, guys.
One last
What?
ride.
Real quick, what year was Embiid drafted again? 14, right?
14, yes.
Okay.
Does anybody even care anymore, Ralph?
No, I was just going off it.
No, I'm just joking.
The draft.
I'm just joking with you because
Just leave that up. Just leave because he definitely said Okafor.
I said Okafor. I mean, I'm talking,
Okafor.
yo, Nate, in this whole show, boys, we have not bring up one power forward in our entire conversation. Like, we didn't even go John Collins. Like, we didn't do any of this. Like, we're literally talking about two guard / small forward. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Jaylen Brown. He told me Jaylen Brown and Joel Embiid would never win together because it's never worked in the NBA.
Shit, at that point, you can move Jaylen Brown to the 2, and then have Seth run the point and Danny at the 3. You know what I mean? At that point, you know what I mean?
Yeah, not even getting that far into it. We haven't even talked about anybody who plays their back to the basket. Like, we're not talking about forwards. I mean, we're not talking about fours. We're talking about guards because that's the model.
That's what you need.
See.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what you see. This is making me tired. The motherfucker said Okafor.
You're all acting like Jintis. You're all acting like Seth's gonna run the point now because Jaylen Brown's in and we traded Maxey, hypothetically, right? Like, no, dude. They would go out in the buyouts and they would make sure they get that. Right? Like they're not just gonna go like it's not even a thing. You know what I mean? Like, nope, nothing to see here. He said he wasn't saying that to me about Brown. All right. Maybe he was talking to somebody else in the comments. I don't know. That happens. But either way, felt good.
Get fired up.
Yeah, felt great.
I love it.
Yeah, nice to get a little bit of juice energy.
All right, Nate, who do you got in the Pro Bowl?
Not Josh Sweat. I'll tell you that. That shit was fucking crazy when I read that.
Yeah.
I just want to go to Vegas.
It's like, how the fuck did Josh Sweat get in there? And it's funny. We went from 1 to like 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think Jason Kelsey is not going to be in it this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
withdrew.
in it. What the fuck is he going to do over there?
Oh, here, Frank, is Jason Kelsey coming back?
I think he's got here.
I think he comes back.
I think he comes back.
At first,
I sure hope so.
At first, I didn't
more.
think he didn't. He would. I mean, he wouldn't. But I think he goes. I think he gives him one more run.
You know how much money he's got on the table?
Yeah, a lot.
Is he done his career? Like, I mean, his contract?
No, he's got 1 year left, and it's like $17 million or something.
Yeah.
Like, and he just had a baby not too long ago. I think it's pretty safe to say you don't turn down that kind of money.
Well, not even that too, Tommy. I think he's just that type that he's just going to finish the job. Like, he signed the contract. I think I look at him as like he's gonna finish it out. You know what I mean? He just looks like that type of player.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think he comes back for one more run.
Yeah.
You doing that trade? TTP said.
What trade?
Maxey and Ben for Beal.
Washington came to me and said Beal, Maxey.
Oh.
Yeah, I would do that. I said that already. I would do that. Especially if you give me something else with Bill, like give me another player they got on the bench back there. You know what I mean? Somebody who could contribute. Just somebody throw in there for, money wise. Hell yeah, I'm telling you, man, I'm pulling that trigger. To me, Beal, Harris, and Embiid is better than Harris, Maxey, Embiid. I think we become close favorite in the East if Bill's on this team. You can't tell me any reason why we wouldn't.
We're pretty close.
I think we're pretty close.
Pretty close.
I think, yeah. I mean, you could make a case for the Bucks. You know what I mean? Miami's not really healthy. Brooklyn's not healthy. Chicago, I think, a little inconsistent lately. I think I haven't been watching them a lot, but
They've been banged up.
Yeah, and they've been
a lot.
Up. So how are we not the favorite?
I think Lonzo's out 6 to 7 weeks with a knee.
Was out, yeah.
Caruso's out 6 weeks with the wrist. Yeah, they just been banged up.
And with that trade, this is what he just said. You don't think we're going to the Eastern Conference Finals? We better. First, we better.
If you make that train, yeah, I do think you make it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
So how do you not? That's what I'm saying. How do you not pull the trigger? Just just to have a shot to get there, to get to the dance. Because
I think it goes. I think it goes back to what Tommy was saying of the part where you only have Beal for that year and a half.
Yeah, he could.
You know what I mean? And you don't have him for the 4 years like you did with Ben Simmons.
It's the same thing with Jimmy. When we got Jimmy, it was the same thing, and he just happened to walk. But he walked because of the coach.
But also think about this too. That shot was probably the luckiest shot in all of basketball.
Yeah,
man, 7 bounces, dude. You know what I mean? Like, think about it. You miss that shot, you go into overtime. That's a great feeling going into overtime against Toronto. I think you guys pull that off and you go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Probably. You know what I mean?
But I also think, leading up to that shot, there were like a couple possessions that we either had. I think we had like 2 back-to-back shot clock violations that led up to that shot.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we probably win the game if that shot doesn't go in. But great players make great shots. You know what I mean?
And traveled.
He traveled, whatever. But I remember used to have an honest argument with people. If he took that shot 7 times, he probably makes it 4. He was just that good at that time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like Kawhi. Yeah,
Kawhi's just a boss. So and then when you get it from the side angle, it's just crazy how even more difficult. And then he did it over Embiid too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for real. And Embiid was jumping too. It's not like he was flat-footed.
So, but what I'm saying, but at the end of the day, that's what I'm saying. That's the kind of caliber of team you get with Bill in this team, in my opinion. Right? That I think you get to that same level with Bill on this team. He's never been on a winner. You know what I mean?
No, he hasn't.
And this is and don't get it twisted. This city is a basketball town. Always has been. Always will be. Obviously, football's first here. But we are just as strong as almost anybody.
After the Eagles, Sixers are right there for second. You know what I mean?
Yeah, here in the city. But if you put this basketball town versus anybody else, we're right up there. I love basketball in this
Agreed.
city.
Should be an honor to play basketball in this city.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys accept that. Sorry, I got some chocolate covered pretzels too. Some guys love that. AI, Joel.
There's history here, man. There's a lot of history here.
If you care about it.
Yeah. There's a lot of history in basketball here.
We get a guy who don't want to play here. So, he doesn't understand it.
Andrew Bynum, he loved our bowling history, apparently.
I saw something funny, and then Tommy, I think you could segue this into some of the the mental read for I forget who we have as our one of our advertisers, but I saw something that was real interesting that we call him soft, but he just mentally might not be able to take this type of town, like the yelling, the screaming. Like he might need to be that guy who needs to be praised, like almost like a kid who can't be like get his ass whipped, but it just needs to be talked to differently versus than getting his ass whipped as some of us might have kind of grew up. You know what I'm saying? That shift in almost parenting that we see is almost like the shift that they have to deal with Ben. You know what I mean? Like he needs to be overly praised. That's why he was never told no. That's why he was always told to be he was going to be great and never kind of failed. Because he can't take that criticism in the other way around. You know what I mean? And we see that too in kids, right? We see that in kids, you know what I mean? And maybe his mental was built the same way. And that goes with anybody who has any type of, mental illness. I don't have the read in front of me, but that maybe that's his issue here. And he just can't really he'll break down if he goes out in front of the fans and gets ridiculed, gets booed. He just can't. He mentally can't take it. He can't handle it. It was something.
Well, then let's send him to Sacramento, and maybe Sacramento will send us Halliburton.
Yeah, my son has gotten tested for stuff like that from an emotional standpoint, so I know about it. I know a lot of people deal with mental issues and stuff. So everybody deals with it differently. And for him to be in the position he's in, he just, like literally, we call him soft, but just mentally he can't take it. Like, this is a different town. You got to be special. You got to be tough to play here.
I just disagree with you about something. Like, I can't compare what he's doing right now to what kids go through. Right? Like, kids are different. When you're talking about a younger kid, they need praise, right? They need to be brought up. They need to be built up, right? That's a whole different story. You're talking about a grown man now, right? And this grown man never grew up. It was I'm better than everybody attitude. That's the attitude. It's no mental illness with Ben Simmons. It's, you know what? I didn't like what somebody said to me. You don't talk to me like that. I ain't playing for you. That's exactly what happened here, right? He didn't like what Joel Embiid said after that. He sort of blamed the loss against Atlanta on Ben.
Yeah.
Right. But also, Joel got attacked for the loss for the playoffs the year before when he had a bad Toronto series. Right. Got attacked. Just came back, tried to get better. Doc says, well, I don't know if we're going to win one, in so many words. Right. Didn't like that. So his hold up was Doc never flew out to see him. Even though
maybe he needed, for his mental, he needed that.
Hold on. No, we're not talking about mental. We're talking about a narcissist. So he didn't answer any of his calls to meet up with him, but he expected doctors to show up.
I think he did.
That's fucking horseshit. That's who the fuck are you? Who are you?
I'm not disagreeing with you because I know you're cut from that same cloth, and I know how just the way you're talking. I know, but I'm telling you, I had to rethink my thought process when I dealt with my son in terms of the mental stuff. And sometimes, he thought that his coach that he looks at, maybe it's possibly a father figure, should have came and saw his ass. Absolutely. I can't, you know what I mean? He's just
we're
not
talking
built
about a guy. Yeah, but
we're not built.
Okay, but then he came back. Nate, you got to go on with this, Whitman. You got to continue to follow it, where it's always different for everybody. Then he came back to practice and came back with a cell phone hanging out of his pocket and sweats on. And literally was going through practice with that and had to get kicked out of practice.
I'm telling you, man, it's different for some of these cats, man. I'm just telling you.
Oh, I hear you, but it's not mental illness for him.
Yeah, because I don't know if it is. I don't know if it's not. I do. But I'm just saying, some of these cats ain't built like even me. And it says it every generation, right? Every generation is saying, we get softer and we get sweeter. Every generation says it. You know what I mean? Y'all don't know how easy you got it. You don't know what we had to go through and this and that. And you see it. They just don't make us the way they used to. They don't make men the way they used to. And all I'm saying is it's very possible that he does have some type of issue where he could be mentally on the spectrum and he doesn't want to make a big deal about it and make it a big thing just because he just mentally can't take it. He just can't. I'm just saying it's not out of the realm of possibility.
No, it's never out of the realm, right?
Yeah. Well, hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, that may be true. All right, and if Ben Simmons, let's say hypothetically, he does have a mental illness, okay? And, I just like him or anybody else that may be going through something, I hope that they're able to get the help and the treatment they need, this, that, and the other. But let's face it, okay? There's there's many, many Americans and many people throughout the world that are going through, that may be going through some sort of mental illness. And unfortunately for some, it does cost them their career. It does cost them their job. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate, but that happens. All right. But, like your employer, like say if I owned a business, all right, and I had somebody there was an employee who had a mental illness, yes, would I want to help them as much as I can? Sure. But it gets to a point where at the end of the day, we're running a business and I can't let it affect the rest of the business operation. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think I get what you're saying, and I think that's where we're at, right? Maury did the right thing. We tried to give him help. The problem was Ben turned
Right.
it. That makes him look even worse, right? It makes him even worse that he turned it down. You know,
Right.
And but
at some point you have to cut bait.
Yeah, and now you got to cut bait. Now that's why he's sitting on the sideline. That's all. But I'm just saying, from what we know and what we've saw, like you said, Tom, from him showing up to practice, he's mentally done. Like he's just done. And some people are like that. Some people just have that switch. All right, well, I'm completely done. I'm completely disconnected. I can't be a pro. I can't get out of my own head. And they have to be, unfortunately,
so why can he play anywhere else?
Cuddled differently than regular men, and tell you to fucking strap up and let's fucking go.
But my question is, there's a timeline here, right? And my point is, there's a really a long timeline of him being a narcissist, right? Of all the things that come with that. Okay, so the mental illness, I'm
not gonna lie to you. Let me look up narcissist.
You can pack your bags, everybody, with the mental illness with him. There's a lot of people struggling with mental illness. This ain't it. This ain't it. The timeline doesn't add up to it. Nothing adds up to it outside of him being cocky, self-centered, make it about Ben. It's all about Ben. I got to be the star. Come on. He hates the fact that Joel Embiid is loved in this city. Hates it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not disagreeing, but that could also be on this. You know what I mean? Like I said, man, I don't want to harp.
No, we're really hard.
Well, I don't want to harp it too much.
No.
Tom, I agree with all of what you're saying, but that may, who knows? That could be part of the mental illness, is the self-centeredness.
Yeah, that
the
could be
me, and it may all be a part of it. But regardless, we all agree that Ben Simmons should get a fresh start in a new city.
Sometimes guys
he should no longer be the Sixers' problem.
Sometimes there's just dickheads, and it has nothing to do with mental illness. We're witnessing a dickhead. We're not witnessing mental illness. Maybe he does. Maybe he's on the spectrum. Guess what? I don't give a fuck. So through 24 years, 24 years of his playing career, where he's been around tons and tons of coaches and different players all around the world, this never came up. Not one report about Ben being mentally challenged with things.
Would you imagine the press if he did? Did you imagine the questions if he had to?
But I like to fucking play video games.
I love fucking triggering you, Tom. I love
some guys are just that talented. They're there because of their talents and not their want-to. That's some guys. You're on the spectrum, but you're gonna quit on all your teammates. Spectrum of what? Being a dickhead? Like, there's levels to this shit. This guy quit on a city. He checks out in playoff games. Like, we witnessed it. So then you can't be a pro then, because if this is your mental block and issues, then you never can be a pro again. Because no matter where you go, because of where you were picked at, because of what you were compared to, you're always going to have expectations. So if you think you can run from it, I'm telling you, whatever city you go to, Benjamin, you're going to get it on Twitter. You're going to get it from the fan base. And you're going to have coaches at some point hold you accountable. We all asked for this organization to bring in accountability. And essentially they did. And Doc Rivers, Sam Cassell, Daryl Morey, right? You sort of brought in accountability. The second we brought in accountability and Daddy wasn't here and Brett, look what happened. Are we fucking okay? Jimmy left because of this dude. Because he knew this dude, you ain't winning with this guy. And because him and Brett's relationship, because it was whatever Ben wanted. Man, come on.
Yeah, Brett Brown was the enabler. No doubt about it.
Like maybe there's something. I'm not here to tell you what goes on in a guy's head, but I just think he's a self-centered, cocky dickhead. And a narcissist. They're going down.
You could be very well right. Absolutely.
Read me some narcissist things, Nate. Let's go through. Let's check them off. Let's have a little fun here, right?
It says narcissistic personality disorder involves a pattern of self-centered, ignorant thinking and behavior, a dickhead by Tom Arnold, and a lack of empathy and consideration for other people, and an excessive need for admiration.
Oh. Any more?
I think he checked all the boxes.
Is there any more? Let me throw a couple more in. Unbelievable. My home. Listen, you're totally right in what you're saying because nobody really knows, and that's the only fair way to say it. But when you timeline it, and then all of a sudden, and if you remember the report, it was mental blocks playing here. Or whatever the heck it was, whatever it read out, right? And then all of a sudden that came flying in because you started getting fined. I know who your agent is.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, where did Ralph go?
He said he is being right back, but unfortunately, I have to. I'm like Ben Simmons. I have to check out and I have to go to bed. So I will see you guys next week. Oh, there he is.
See you, Frank.
Later, Frankie.
Later.
See you, Frankie, baby.
Later, Frank.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He only claimed it when he started getting fined. But listen, come on. I'm not going to get into you about what's the spectrum and what's not. I get it. This isn't it. This isn't it. If he couldn't connect with people, he has no problem finding fiancés. Mr. Connection issues. Come on. I know there's levels to the spectrum, too. I totally understand that. All right, I'm well-versed in mental illness, but come on. I always want to give players the benefit of the doubt because I know what they go through sometimes and what's expected. That's not mental illness, though. He thinks he's better than he is, and he doesn't want to do what you tell him to do. That's not a mental illness. That's just a cocksucker. That's a guy who thinks he's better than you. If you call that mental illness, then fine. We can start calling that mental illness now. That can get labeled. Guy needs help because he's a dickhead. Right, guys? You know, and maybe he does, and we're going to find out. Because if he goes somewhere and the same things seem to occur with him, hey, who knows, right? But I just think I went out of this place because they badmouthed me.
Facts. And he can't take it. That's the part of that's the other part. Once he got badmouth, once he, like you said, once the hand got smacked and no, like what the fuck are you doing? And everybody was saying it. Nope, can't do it no more.
And we talked about it previously. Like, I really want to. I really never trying to take a shot at people with mental illness.
Yeah,
actually, quite the opposite. I despise people who want to make it up for their own benefit. Because you know it's an easy cop-out. They're the people I don't like because they're out there. You know, in your walks of life, you're going to run into people that are just lazy or other things, and they're going to automatically blame I got some things going on internally, right? And you're like, do you?
Yeah.
You sure? Okay, maybe you do. I don't know, right? We all run into it, right? I'm just dealing with some stuff. Just getting over some demons. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy nowadays, man. It is.
Yeah, that's what they tell me when they come up to me and say, sorry, I was an hour late for work, Noah.
Because you can't fire nobody because they're saying, listen, I'm going through it. So when you're about to get fined or you're about to lose something, this makes the whole point. When you're about to lose something, man, I got demons here in Philly. I can't get over it. I just don't understand why. This is exactly what happened, and nobody's been fooled by it, right? Like Nate's making a point just that, hey, it's out there, right? Some people
I tell them, wait a minute, you can't set your alarm because of what now?
And that's the thing. I never want to compare like what young kids go through coaching wise to like pro players, just because they've been through so many coaches throughout their careers, right? But like young kids need that. Like, yes, be tough on them at times. Right, but they need to be built up. They need.
I agree. But when you're the star player and you've always been good through everything, you don't have to really answer to anybody. You get applaud, and if you mess up, it gets swept under the rug. It's not like everybody's looking. It's like, oh, he's the star player, he's the guy, and Ben seems like the person has always been the guy. He's always been the best player everywhere he's been.
Right.
He's never had
when they're a star in high school or on their AAU team.
On the
they don't have a coach or anybody that nobody will tell them. Nobody will. Everybody in their corner thinks they can do no wrong. You know what I mean?
And when you say build up, like he was built up, but it didn't take much. He was built up when he was the guy the whole way. There was nothing to build. He just kept working.
Right. And Ryan, listen, I'm proud of you for coming out and speaking about what you go through with your autism, and credit to you, right? You know what I mean? Like total credit to you, and we're happy to be here for you to be able to talk to us and talk sports with us and have fun with us in any way we can help you. You know, we're here, brother. But I just that's my issue with them, because there's people out there, Ryan, that are really going through it. And he just slapped every one of you guys in the face. And that's what I don't like. I don't like frauds. I don't like assholes. I don't like liars. Like, there's some of the things I just try to stay away from in my life, right? Try to avoid those types. Come on. I mean, it became not about Ben when Brett left, and the timeline starts. The timeline of accountability. The timeline of an entire locker room saying, shoot the ball, Ben. Shoot the ball, Ben. I mean, how many times did Danny Green tell him to shoot the basketball last year? I mean, there might be 20 million clips.
Hey, gentlemen, I gotta say goodnight. Have a good one. All right.
Following you in the few, Noah. We're following you in the few.
Don't worry, Bob. I said we're all behind you, bro.
We're right behind you.
I got you. Yeah, I gotta be up at 4. Time for me to go. Have a good one.
Get some sleep.
See you, Noah.
Later, Noah.
Yep. Later, guys.
So, I mean, this is where we're at. So, the trade deadline's coming up. Whoa. Hey, how are we? Let me switch this out. There we go. Yeah, Sweeps, I agree. He threw the mental Hail Mary after he got destroyed following the Hawks series. And he didn't even throw it that early. He didn't throw it until he got fined. And that's what makes it even.
Yeah, he actually went up to the podium and didn't he take responsibility a little bit?
No.
Was it?
Not at all. No, he thought he made the right basketball decision, because whatever he does is the right decision.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. I thought he actually took some accountability in that game.
No, he's taking accountability at times, but not in that one.
Not in that spot. All right, my bad.
Yeah, and if he did, it was like very little.
Yeah,
just wasn't enough. But either way, I mean, listen. Hopefully, he gets dealt. We're all sort of like around the same when it comes to the options out there, and what we're willing to give up and what we're not. And I think we all agree, like even for Beal, we're a little hesitant on Maxey. It's almost something I feel like we all got to think about a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because why do we have to? So I mean, that's something for Daryl Morey to figure out. But listen, if he has an opportunity where Matisse can be in that deal, then I don't know what you're waiting on.
Agreed with you.
So pray to whoever you pray to out there, fam, and pray that this guy is moved, because I think this basketball team right now is even better than they were last year. I'm not saying by a lot, but if they can get some pieces, they can be really dangerous. Really dangerous.
Yep. I agree.
Right now they're at plus 600 to win the East. I looked at it today. Plus 600 to win the. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, plus 600 to win the East. Plus 1125, I think, to win the whole thing, which are kind of short odds. You know what I mean? But it's we're at the halfway point. Tails of two halves, two seasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll see. We'll see if we can replicate it on the second side.
It's good to throw those bets in now. Like I would, maybe not the win. Well, maybe win the whole thing. You just throw a couple bucks at it, but.
I don't see anybody on the West Coast that I'm really, like, oh my, yeah, I don't want to see them. Maybe Golden State, if they go on a run, they're always dangerous, right? Yeah. Once they get the three, once Clay really gets his legs under him and Green comes back, so that three is always dangerous. Wiseman gets back over there too. I think Wiseman's been out for a while, so they got some youth, and then they got the three main. So they're dangerous, and Phoenix, they might get back there again, right? Give Chris Paul, but I think if we saw them, I think we match up well against Phoenix. I think it's a bad matchup for them. So I don't really see anybody in the West that I'm really scared. So that a little bit 11-1. It's not a bad, get a little taste. You know?
Yeah. I just listen. Just get something back. Make us deeper. Make us better. Give us a fighting chance. It's really all I'm asking for right now. And if you don't have to trade a guy like Maxey, don't. Right? Because again, you want to be deep. You want to have a lot of options. The more options you have, the more dangerous you are. It's just common sense, right? So, listen, boys, great show. A lot of technical difficulty at the beginning. In the middle.
Yeah. In the end,
it's one of those things. Like before the show, I don't know if there's anything more that could have went wrong, A2D wise, but we did it. We did it, boy. We did it.
Yes, sir.
For Nate Moss, you can catch him on Money Pot every Sunday morning, 10:30, 10:45, depending on how he's going. Right around that number.
Yeah, right around there. A little sweet spot.
So make sure you guys are hitting the like. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe. We appreciate every one of you that are chiming in. Ralph Del Vecchio. We had Ryan Brodo for 2 minutes. We had no eat. we had no eating the whole time, but maybe for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
With Frank Vesby the whole time for the most part. Maybe we got 4 minutes out of him. And then we had Ralph Del Vecchio, the great Ralph Del Vecchio.
Delco's finest.
Delco's finest. Ralphie was fired up tonight, though. I loved it. He was ready to get after it.
Gotta come prepared, you know.
And like I said, for the members that are still on and are still watching,
there's members.
We talked about a member show where you guys can get on, and that is coming. You will see more details, more likely after the Super Bowl. We're ramping up. We're looking at schedules. We're trying to figure it all out. But the show for members only is coming. If you're not a member and you're still hanging with us, you're still with us, head over A2D YouTube, hit the join button. Not only do you get picks from me, not only do you get the wheel. What are you doing? A Oculus for the members, or is that something different?
No, but that's a raffle I'm doing. Start with an Oculus. I was going to do like PS5s, Xboxes, all kinds of like different electronics, and try to raise some money for small businesses. And then when you go out, and we buy some gift cards, and then we give those gift cards away to our members. So that was sort of the way I was trying to almost you kill two birds with one stone, right? You get back not only small businesses, but you give stuff out to our members. So that's the goal. And you become a member. The link's pinned right in our comment section over on YouTube. Only $9.99 a month, and you get picks from Nate, and you get daily fantasy on the weekends from Willie Vegas. So on that stuff, it's a no-brainer right there. And we're gonna have a fun member show. Like Nate said, it's gonna be really interactive.
Yeah, man.
We're gonna be judges, and you guys are gonna go against each other, and it's gonna be a point system. So I mean, if you're not a member, listen, everybody else is like doing memberships, and I don't know what you're getting, but we even do jersey giveaways. But those members on those shows are gonna win stuff too. So if you come in first place, you're gonna win. So the more members, the better. If you haven't become one yet, become one. This has been A2D Wednesday nights. And like I said earlier, we were brought to you every Wednesday by our friends over at Manscaped, and you get 20% off and free shipping with the code A2D at manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. So much went on tonight. I only got 2 reads out, but I got the main sponsor and I got FanUp out. So listen, I'll do better. I'll do better next time out. I promise everybody. I'll do better next time out. Hopefully no more technical difficulties. Love you, boys. Love all our family out there that commented in. Yep. Love all you guys that are listening back after the fact. And remember, we're everywhere you get your podcast too. So go over there. Love 5-star reviews. Really appreciate them. And follow us on all our social media platforms. I'm Tom Arnone. I don't know if I said that on the way out like I'm supposed to as an outro, but I don't know where my head's at. So I'm